Our goal for today's lesson is I can identify shapes as 2D or 3D. We've talked about 2D shapes and 3D shapes, and now we're going to look at shapes and see if that shape is 2D or 3D and how we know the difference. Hi again. We have talked about 2D shapes that look like me. We can also describe 2D shapes as flat. So look at him. We've talked about this before, that 2D shapes are flat, like a square that you would see in a paper, or a rectangle, or a circle, or a triangle. We also learned about shapes that are 3D, like me. We can describe 3D shapes as solid. So see how he's not flat? Because behind him, there's more to the shape. So remember, examples are like cubes and rectangular prisms and spheres. Remember, spheres like a ball. All examples of 3D shapes that are solid. Today, we're going to be sorting shapes. Draw the shape that's flat. Well, you see we have a cylinder, and then we have it could be a number of shapes. Certainly a square, turned on its side. It's also, square is a type of rectangle. So which one is flat? All right, hopefully you realize that the square is flat. So we're gonna do our best to draw that on here. And remember, flat means 2D. Draw the shape that's flat. Which one do you think it is? Well, hopefully you realize the 2D or flat one is the triangle and not the cone. Draw the shape that's solid. Well, you see this rectangle is flat. So that means that the cube is the solid one. I know cubes are tough to draw. The way I like to draw them is it starts with a square, because you can see in the front it is a square. And then draw kind of a crooked square on top of it. And then another crooked square at the bottom. And again, not perfect, and I know it's a tough one to draw, but as long as you know that the cube's the solid one and the 3D shape, then that's all that really matters. Draw the shape that's solid. Okay, so hopefully you see that the 3D shape here is the cylinder. Remember, cylinder is like a can and not the trapezoid. Okay, so let's try to draw that. So it's a circle at the top, and then at the bottom is a rectangle going down the side, and then it's another circle at the bottom. So kind of looks like a cylinder. That's the one that's solid. How are we feeling? Hopefully you're not finding this too hard. How are these shapes sorted? Well, your first thought might be, well, how about this? I'll give you a little more time to think about it. All right, well, your first thought might be, well, one side's 3D and one side's 2D. You see that the sphere and the cylinder are 3D shapes. But then if you look at the circle, that's flat, that's not 3D. And then on this side you have the cube and the cone, which are 3D. But then you have the trapezoid that is not 3D. So they're not sorted by 2D and 3D. Well, how are they sorted? What I'm noticing about these ones is they're all pretty round. And none of these have vertices. However, the shapes over here all have vertices. You can see it here in the trapezoid, in the cube, and then up at the top at the cone. So that was a little trickier, but they're sorted by vertices, no vertices. Which shape is not an example of a flat shape? A circle, a square, a triangle, or a cylinder? What do you think? Well, circles, squares, and triangles are all flat, so that makes it the cylinder. D is the correct answer.